We caught up with Nebraska's coordinators here as well as several different players on Tuesday as the Huskers get ready for this week's home game against Purdue. First and foremost, the biggest storyline remains this offense from Marcus Satterfield and just the number of injuries this unit is trying to overcome.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because those guys work together as one. You know, they may be 5 linemen on the field at one time, but it's one unit, you know, having to work together. So sometimes it takes some time to get the new guy or new guys, you know, in tune with everyone else. But I think like Justin came in the last game, played guard and played center at a high level, and fit in really nicely with those guys. I think that, you know, I'm good with where we're going up front. I think that, you know, we'll be just fine as long as we stay healthy, you know, with who we got up there right now. We just continue to be physical, continue to run the football.
No, not during the season like that. No, but you see it now on offense as well. You know, you always have to have that next man up mentality because you never know what situation you're going to be in, right? So, same thing with the offensive guys right now. You know, they're moving guys, moving pieces around, and finding the great combinations and stuff. And you know, Evan Jenkins, when he had to go into the game, you know, he was repping guard, and then for a series, and then he goes over. Now he's repping center. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how many reps he had gotten at center, but he goes right in there and plays. Like that's on a different level in terms of being prepared. You know, and coach is always talking about that, where, you know, you're preparing to take the grass at any moment. You know, and there's some guys hear it and some guys listen, and you know, when those guys that listen really get a chance to show it on the grass, like they've been listening, they've been practicing like they're gonna play, then that's a pretty neat deal.
Yeah, the O-line is really close. A really good brotherhood, I think, together. So, but like I've seen them say, like Turner's out there still. I mean, he's on crutches, helping the young guys. That's going to take over his spot. I mean, Teddy's been here. I know he's kind of gone through his own journey of injuries, but I think he'll be great for us. It was awesome to see Justin get in the game, and I mean, I've been going against Justin for the past 2 years now on scout, and he's given us a great look. And I knew when it was his time to be called on that he was going to be able to do his job. I mean, going from left guard, and then when Ben went down in the game to center, and seeing him be able to just kind of flip his brain, because I mean, even though it's still a line, those are two different positions on what you have to do, and who, like, the center has to make calls now, and the left guard. And I mean, just the way they communicated was awesome. So I just think our O-line, the young guys, I think are ready, and when they step up, I think we're going to be pretty happy with what we see.
Specifically, the offensive line, Nebraska will be with 3 new starters this week.
But I mean, we got good young players. We're excited about. It's a lot of fun to go out there, and we just had a great practice today. It's a lot of fun to go out there and work with these guys. They're hungry. They got opportunity. We look at it that way. Like a lot of people look at it as we're missing people. We look at it as a great opportunity for these kids or these young men, to show what they've got. We're really excited about them.
Coach Raiola has all those guys ready to go, so I trust whoever he puts in. And also, I mean, I trust those guys. You know, I've built a relationship with all of them over these years. You know, Teddy, you know, we came in at the same time. We've known each other since high school. You know, obviously he's recovered from a couple injuries, but, you know, I trust Teddy and, you know, anyone who Coach Raiola puts in.
Quarterback Heinrich Harburg also continues to grow through some of his mistakes. Saturday had its ups and downs, but both Satterfield and Harburg were pleased with the outcome.
I was patient. I was very patient. You know, and it was just, it's one of those things you have those games like when you're growing. Like that's his fifth start, I believe. Not making excuses for me or him, but sometimes you just have, you know, you have bad days where the timing's not there and the ball's not coming out like it should. But he fought through it and he persevered. You know, he came back and made that play. That was crucial to get that ball to Malachi and just kind of let everybody take a breath and move forward through the fourth quarter.
I mean, it was still kind of the same stuff that I thought post-game, just little things that I need to fix. The offense as a whole we need to fix, just little stuff that in the past has made us lose games, and you know, luckily that stuff didn't make us lose this one. But you know, as we continue to get down this road and get more and more into Big Ten play, you know, as we want to know every week, we got to fix that stuff.
Ryan Walters at Purdue is known as a defensive-minded head coach. He had one of the top defenses in the Big Ten a year ago as Brett Bielema's defensive coordinator at Illinois. There's no doubt he'll present a challenge this week for the Huskers.
Very similar, but very sound, complex. I mean, you see some of the adjustments they make when motions occur. They may have a pressure called and a motion, motion occurs, and how they're able to communicate and make sure that pressure is correct. is some high-level stuff. It's pretty neat to watch. Don't like going against guys like this that are very, very disciplined in what they do, but you can tell just a very disciplined defense. They play with great leverage. They run to the football. They like to hit you. So it's going to be a huge test for us, to make sure that we're moving the ball right and continuing to gain field position throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's kind of Illinois 2.0. I think we did a good job against Illinois offensively. Obviously, there's stuff that we always want to get better at, and now we have a chance because, Purdue and Illinois, they may not be the exact same defense. They may have different tendencies, but it's another shot at an Illinois-type defense that, we may be struggling against, couldn't punch the ball in, and, that game a lot of small things down in the red zone, and, we need to be able to execute every play this week.
Meanwhile, on the defense, Tony White's unit continues to play at a high level.
I think the chemistry between the guys and the coaching staff, I think you can really see that when the guys come up and hang out in their off time, or they're doing extra, they're doing all those little things to be around to make themselves really good players. And then Coach has, again, family nights on Monday where you just see, it's the first time you did it, it was just the players, and now all of a sudden you're seeing not only the coaches' families, but there's more players bringing their girlfriends, significant others, their kids around, you know what I mean? So all of that ties into when those guys go take the grass, right? You see them really live and in the moment, jumping around, they're cheering for each other. I mean, when James Williams, who came from the scout team, goes in there and makes a play, everybody was, it was the stadium erupted, you know what I mean? And on the sidelines, they couldn't be more happier for James. So I think the chemistry that those guys are building, it really gets to shine on the grass when they're cheering for each other,
Huskers got Luke Reimer back for the first time in several weeks as he was recovering from a MRSA infection that hospitalized him for a few days.
Yeah, it's been a little chaotic, obviously. I was in the hospital for 2 nights, basically 3 days. So with the infection, and then got back, and then it kind of took me a while for my arm to start feeling better again too, because it was just pretty sore. But yeah, I was just super happy to be out on the field again and just playing football and not having to deal with that stuff. It was just completely random, no idea, but I was just really happy to be out there and playing football again.
One of the challenges this week for the Black Shirts will be slowing down Purdue's talented running backs, led by Dylan Mockabee.
Yeah, he's a hard-running kid. I remember last year, I think he was a screen. He came over the middle as I was trying to retrace and go get him. He smacked me good. But, yeah, he's going to be a hard-hitting runner. And I just know a year at that program, he's just going to be just a year better. I've already seen it on the film. I mean, he looks like a true running back now. His form looks really good, and he just looks like he's not out there as a freshman, not, with deer in the headlights type deal. He's really confident in himself. So it's going to take all 11 of us to stop him.
I mean, there's some guys back and there's some new guys. I mean, the quarterback's new. Running backs are the same. I know they moved. I think it was number 3 last year. He was kind of like a slot wide receiver guy. Put him in the backfield. Now he's strictly a running back. So they have good personnel. I mean, the number 4, the wide receiver, is dynamic. They got 2 tailbacks that I think are going to be some of the best we played. Quarterback, obviously, he's a tremendous athlete, and you see when he gets a chance to get in a rhythm and throw the ball distributed, he's really talented. So we got to make sure that we know what we're doing, and we know how we want to do it, and then turn those guys loose to let them go play.
Yeah, they just do a bunch of stuff. They're physical. They have a good O-line. They have good skills. They're a good team. They have a good quarterback, and their running backs are obviously 45-3. They're pretty good players, dude. So yeah, it's we're gonna have a big task ahead of us, but we're excited for it. Excited for the challenge because they bring so many different things to the table. They run it well. They do all sorts of different things passing game wise. So it'll be a good challenge for us.
One of the other things that's interesting this week, Matt Rule has actually been running the scout team defense here in practice as the Huskers get ready for Purdue.
Coach was the D coordinator today with the Purdue defense, and was out there, and it was really good for our guys, just giving us the multiple looks. And the scout team was really playing really hard for Coach, obviously. So that was really nice.
Coach Rule's down there working with the scout team and the demonstration team, and here James is balling his butt off, right? So he comes to me and T Knight is like, hey man, we got to get this guy on the field. T Knight goes and Coop suggested a package. T Knight's like, yeah, we can put him in this position to just let him turn him loose. We get together, we come up with the package and the coverage and stuff like that, and then we let him go play. And sure enough, it happens. So now all those other guys in that room, in that demonstration team, they're going like crazy because they know that could happen to them next, And again, it all goes back to the chemistry of the guys, and validating the work that they're putting in. It's one thing to say work hard because you will. It's another thing to be like, hey, work hard because that just happened right now, So.
Ty Robinson was a big story that emerged from that game this past week as well.
It was definitely the most confidence I had throughout the whole game. I think as of going, I think I've seen myself this year just get a lot better as each game is come and go. And there's a lot of stuff at the end of the season. I got to question if I'm ready to go or not. So, but as of right now, I think just focusing for each game and making sure that I continue just to get better and better every week.
Yeah, though, those D linemen, like I said, we got some of the best ones in the country. I've felt like that, and the neat thing is that they're putting it on the grass. The disruption that him and Nash are doing in there, all of them really. Now you got Jamari down in there moving in and stuff. The disruption that they're causing, it's easy to see them make a sack and it's easy to see them make a tackle for a loss. But what you don't see are those plays where they're taking up two guys and now the linebacker or the safety runs through a hole and hits it for a tackle for a loss. It's because those guys are doing extra, So you can't play as good of run defense as we're playing without it starting up front with those guys and doing the work that nobody sees until you watch the film.
And finally, this defense knows they've got to do whatever to help continue to lift this football team.
That was our mentality Saturday. At least that was to me, and I was trying to, relay it to everyone else on the defense. Was that, hey, it's 10-3 right now. Who cares? We're winning. We're technically winning. If we just do what we're supposed to do on defense, we win the game 10-3. Obviously, it helps when we score points because it kind of gives us, that more cushion room or whatever, but it's no reason to take our foot off the brake and just keep doing what we're doing. We didn't get a shutout in the fourth quarter, and that's a goal for us every game. They got a field goal, so not really happy about that. And then we also got however many yards, over 100 rushed on us, which, we haven't really allowed this whole year. So I also take that personal that, even though we did a lot of good things, there were still some things, that wasn't held to our standard.
With the Huskers here in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.